Welcome to Inside Insights, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central. Brought to you by InsightWorks.
Okay, picture this. It's Monday morning. You walk onto the receiving dock of your warehouse, and honestly, it looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
There are boxes piled up, pallets everywhere. They're blocking the aisles, and this is the worst part. You've got someone running around with a clipboard.
The clipboard.
Frantically looking for a packing slip that probably, fell under a forklift 3 hours ago.
That's the classic Monday morning scramble. It is a scene that plays out in warehouses all over the world. It's chaotic, it's loud, and it's incredibly expensive.
That's the thing, right? It's not just about the mess. It's that ripple effect. That box sitting on the dock today means a customer order doesn't get shipped tomorrow or maybe next week.
It is. It's hidden chaos. And usually when we see that kind of situation, it's because the team is in what we call firefighting mode. They're just reacting.
Reacting to whatever a truck just backed in?
Exactly. Instead of having a proactive system that pulls the inventory in efficiently. They are, just surviving the day, not actually managing the flow.
So today we are grabbing a fire extinguisher. We're doing a deep dive into how to stop the firefighting and actually optimize inbound logistics using Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.
Yep.
We've got a stack of notes here based on a technical guide, really focused on optimizing Business Central, or BC, as we should probably call it, and specifically layering on some extensions from InsightWorks to fix this whole mess.
Right. And before we get into the shiny gadgets and the scanners, let's define the scope. We're talking about inbound logistics. This isn't just opening boxes.
Right.
It's the moment that ownership of goods transfers from the vendor to you. And if you get the data wrong here, if you say you received 10 red widgets, but you actually got 10 blue ones, your inventory is wrong forever.
Or at least until your next very expensive physical audit where you have to shut the whole place down.
Exactly, the dreaded audit. But the source material, it puts a hard number on why this all matters. We're not just trying to make the dock look tidy. The goal is reducing receiving cycle times by 20 to 30%.
Whoa. 30%.
30%. Think about that for a second. That isn't just getting the receiving team home on time. That is getting products available for sale almost a third faster.
That's cash flow.
It's cash flow, it's inventory turnover, it's customer satisfaction. It's a massive efficiency gain.
Okay, you have my attention. 30% is a serious number. So let's unpack this. We have to start with the foundation. How does Business Central handle this? Out of the box.
Right.
Because a lot of people just assume, hey, I bought this expensive ERP, it should just work.
It does work, but BC gives you options. It's not a one-size-fits-all. You can think of it like a choose-your-own-adventure for your warehouse.
Yeah.
The source highlights two main flavors, basic and advanced.
Okay, give me the basic flavor first. The vanilla.
So basic is designed for simpler locations, maybe a smaller warehouse, fewer staff. It uses a document called an inventory put-away.
Okay.
It's a single step. You receive the item and put it on the shelf in one motion. Transaction done.
Right, like bringing groceries into the house and putting the milk directly into the fridge.
Perfect analogy. The data matches the physical action immediately. But then you've got the advanced setup. This is for larger operations where you need more control.
Or where the person receiving the truck isn't the same person putting the stock away.
Exactly that. So advanced, it splits the process into two distinct steps. First, you have the warehouse receipt. This just records that the items have arrived at the dock door.
So the milk is in the house.
The milk is in the hallway. The system knows it's physically on the premises, but it's not pickable yet.
Got it. Not ready for sale.
Right. Then step 2 is the warehouse put away. This is a separate instruction that tells a worker, okay, now move the milk from the hallway to the fridge.
Or maybe to a secondary fridge in the garage if the main one is full.
Precisely. And that's where BC gets really clever with something called directed put away. In an advanced setup, the system doesn't just say put it away. It calculates the best place to put it based on bin types or, item attributes.
So it knows that the high turnover stuff, the stuff we sell 1,000 of a day, should be right near the shipping dock, not buried in the back corner.
That's exactly it. It optimizes the physical layout logic for you. It looks at bin rankings, weight, volume. It's actually really powerful logic.
Okay, so the structure is there. BC is smart. It has the logic, but... And there's always a but. If the software is so smart, why is the dock still so chaotic? Why are we seeing that 30% inefficiency gap?
Because of the human gap.
Yeah.
Even with directed put away, if you're recording all these movements on paper, you lose.
The clipboard of doom.
Right. I mean, think about the workflow. The forklift driver moves the pallet, then he stops, pulls out a pen, writes it down on a piece of paper. Then maybe 3 hours later, he hands that paper to a clerk in the office.
And the clerk types it into BC. So for 3 hours, the system thinks that pallet is still on the receiving.
Still on the dock.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though it's actually sitting on the shelf, you have a ghost inventory problem. The physical reality and the digital record are completely out of sync.
Right.
And that's where you get the errors.
Yeah.
That's where you get the sales team selling stock you don't technically have yet.
Which brings us to the first major optimization in our source material. Bridging that gap with tech. The digital leap.
Yes. The source focuses on an extension called Warehouse Insight. And basically, it takes those BC screens, which, let's be honest, are designed for a desktop with a mouse and keyboard, and translates them onto a mobile scanner.
Usually an Android device, right?
Yeah, that's the best practice. So no more walking back to a computer. You're doing the work right there at the pallet.
But I have to ask, is it just a smaller screen? I mean, if I'm just tapping a tiny screen instead of a big one, have I really gained that much?
It's not about the screen size, it's about the scanner. The game changer here is real-time verification.
Break that down for me. What actually happens when a truck backs in and I've got one of these devices?
Okay, so you're on the dock. A box comes in. Instead of looking at a paper list and checking a box with a pin, you point your scanner at the item's barcode.
Oh.
The device instantly checks that barcode against the purchase order in Business Central. It verifies the item number, the quantity, the lot number, the serial number, everything.
So if the vendor sent the wrong item, or the barcode says it's a pack of 10, but the PO expects each, the scanner literally screams at you.
Metaphorically, yes. It stops you. It gives you an error message right on the screen. It prevents the error at the source.
That is the aha moment. It prevents the fat finger error, typing in 100 instead of 10 later that day.
Or reading a serial number wrong because the handwriting on the box is a mess. With scanning, the inventory updates in BC instantly. There's no pile of papers waiting for data entry.
Which means the sales team upstairs sees the stock is available the second it's scanned.
Exactly. Speed and accuracy. You're eliminating the lag time completely.
Now, there was one specific feature in the source that I thought was really cool, but I want to challenge it a bit. It's about labeling on the fly. Because, vendors can be terrible at labeling.
Oh, absolutely. You get a box with nothing but a handwritten Sharpie mark on it or a barcode that's been ripped in half.
So how does the system fix that?
With these handhelds, you can trigger a printer, usually a mobile-built printer that the worker wears,
Oh, cool.
or a nearby network printer, to just spit out a proper barcode label the moment you receive the item. You're not just receiving, you're prepping the item for its whole life in the warehouse.
You're standardizing the chaos immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the source talks about data matrix codes here, which is a pretty significant upgrade from a standard barcode.
Those are the square pixelated ones, like a QR code's tougher cousin.
Essentially, yeah. A standard 1D barcode,
Yeah.
the stripes, it usually just holds one piece of info, like the item ID.
Right.
A data matrix code is 2D, so it can hold the item ID, the lot number, the expiration date, and the quantity all in one little square.
So why does that matter?
One scan. Later on, when you're picking an order, you don't have to scan the item, then scan the lot, then check the date. One beep captures all of that data.
That's wildly efficient. You're condensing 4 steps into one.
It is, but if we're talking about condensing steps, we have to talk about license plating.
Ah, yes, LPNs. And just to be clear for everyone listening, we are not talking about registering your car at the DMV.
No.
This is probably the most jargon-heavy term in warehousing, but it's arguably the most important one in the source material.
It is the secret weapon of high-volume warehouses. If you aren't using license plating, you are working too hard. Period.
So let's demystify it. What is a license plate in this context?
Okay, think about packing for a trip. When you go to the airport, do you check in every individual pair of socks, every shirt, your toothbrush, all separately?
No, that would be a nightmare. I check in one suitcase.
Exactly. The suitcase is the license plate. In the warehouse, you might have 50 small boxes of widgets stacking up on a pallet. In a basic system, you'd have to track 50 individual boxes. With license plating, you wrap that pallet, slap one barcode on it, and say, this is pallet ID 123.
That pallet ID is the license plate.
Right. And inside the software, inside Warehouse Insight, that ID is linked to everything on that pallet. And if pallet 123 contains 50 widgets, lot A, expiring in December.
So when the forklift driver needs to move it from the dock to the rack,
They scan the license plate once, beep, and the system moves the whole group.
Instead of 50 scans, it's 1.
Exactly. And think about mixed palettes. This is where it gets really powerful. Suppose you have a palette with 10 red items, 10 blue items, and 5 green items.
A mixed bag. That sounds like a headache to transact manually.
It's a nightmare without LPNs.
Yeah.
You'd have to transact 3 different lines. With an LPN, the system knows the recipe of that palette. You move the LPN, and BC just moves all the subcontents in the background.
That sounds like it saves hours, not just
Yeah.
minutes. But does it create a black box problem? Do I lose visibility of what's actually inside the palette if I just see palette 1, 2, 3?
That's a common fear.
Yeah.
But the source makes a good point. You lose the friction, not the detail.
Mm.
You can still scan the LPN in an inquiry app
Yeah.
and see exactly what's inside. It acts like a container. You can look inside the suitcase whenever you want. You just don't have to carry the socks individually.
Lose the friction, not the detail.
Oh,
I like that. But, okay, let's throw a wrench in the gears. Because the world isn't perfect. What happens when the truck opens up and the goods are damaged?
ah.
You know, something leaked, a box is crushed.
The dreaded uh-oh moment.
Yeah. And reading through the source, it seems like Native Business Central is actually a bit clunky here. There isn't just a big red damaged button on the standard receiving screen, is there?
Not really, no. In standard BC, you have to get creative, and not in a good way. You might receive it into a special quarantine bin or receive it and then immediately write it off.
Yeah.
It's manual, and it messes up the whole flow.
It disrupts the rhythm. And you might accidentally put bad inventory on the shelf.
Exactly. If you receive it into a standard bin, you run the risk of someone picking it for an order before you can even flag it.
So what's the better way? The source mentions an extension called Quality Inspector.
Right. This integrates right into the receiving workflow on the handheld. So you're scanning your boxes, everything is fine, and then you find a crushed one.
What do I do?
You can trigger a quality test right on the device. It creates a quality order. And here's the feature that I think is just the most valuable. Photo capture.
Yes. Using the camera on the scanner itself.
You take a picture of the crushed box. The app automatically uploads that photo to OneDrive or SharePoint and links it right to the purchase receipt record in BC.
That is profound, because usually it's a game of telephone, right? Hey, Frank said the box was crushed. Well, the vendor says it was fine when it left.
Exactly. No more he said, she said. Now you have time-stamped photographic evidence attached to the permanent record.
And you can actually grade it too, right? It's not just a photo note.
Correct. You can pass it, sail it, assign custom failure codes. And here's the so what? If you fail a lot, the system can automatically block it.
Explain blocking in BC terms.
So BC has a feature where you can block a specific lot number. The quality inspector does this for you if the test fails. It keeps the physical goods in your building, so you can return them, but it logically lots them out of usable stock.
So the sales team literally cannot put it on a sales order.
Exactly. The system just says, no. That saves so many customer service headaches.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay, so we've received the goods, we've scanned them, we've license plated them, checked the quality, but the warehouse doesn't end there. We got to get this stuff out the door.
Right. Inbound isn't an island. It feeds outbound. And if you optimize inbound correctly, outbound gets a whole lot easier.
Connect those dots for us. How does receiving a license plate help the shipping department 3 days later?
The source talks about integration with another module called Dynamic Ship, but the concept is general. If you use license plating at receiving, you capture the weight, dimensions, and contents of that unit.
Okay, so the system knows pallet 123 weighs 500 pounds and is 4 by 4 feet.
Exactly. So let's say a customer orders that whole pallet. You don't need to rescan all 50 items to print this shipping label. The system already has the dimensional data from that first inbound scan.
So you scan the plate, and boom, UPS label, bill of lading, packing slip.
Just like that. The data flows all the way through. You're harvesting the crop you planted during receiving.
That's a great way to put it. Now, before we wrap, let's get practical. For the listeners out there, maybe their partner's implementing this or they run a warehouse. What are the best practices?
The source lists a few key ones. First, hardware.
Don't use your personal cell phone.
Please don't. I see this a lot. Managers say, oh, everyone has a smartphone. Warehouses are brutal environments. You need rugged Android scanners that can take a drop.
And what about connectivity? Wi-Fi.
Critical. Test your Wi-Fi coverage. A warehouse is basically a giant Faraday cage full of steel and liquids. You will have dead zones.
So get a heat map done.
Absolutely. But also, look for software with an offline mode. The source mentions this. You want a scanner that keeps working if the Wi-Fi drops and then syncs up when you walk back into range. It's a vital safety net.
Good point. What about process controls inside BC?
There are settings. called require receive and require put away. The advice is to turn those on.
Why? Doesn't that add clicks? People hate clicks.
It adds structure. It forces the discipline of that two-step process we talked about. It prevents shortcuts. You want the system to enforce the rules, not the manager.
Make the system the bad guy. I like that. And strategically, where do I start?
Start with the easy wins. The source suggests starting with vendors who already barcode their products well.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Exactly. Get the team used to scanning the easy stuff. Build confidence. Then, once they trust the scanners, you can tackle the unlabeled mess from that one difficult supplier.
That's huge. That's change management 101.
It is.
Okay, let's bring this home. We started on a chaotic dock with paper everywhere. Where have we ended up?
We've moved to a streamlined digital environment. We're using handhelds to verify data instantly. We're using license plates to move bulk items with a single scan. And we're using cameras to document damage and lock down bad inventory.
And that metric we started with.
20 to 30% faster receiving cycles. That's the bottom line. It's moving from reactive firefighting to proactive operations.
It really is a shift in mindset as much as technology.
It is. It's trusting the data over the clipboard.
Now, I want to leave you with something to chew on. We talked about data matrix codes holding all this info and scanners taking photos that the system sees and stores.
Right.
We're getting to a point where the system knows more about the physical reality than the manager standing on the floor does.
That's a fascinating thought.
I mean, it knows the expiration dates, the damage, the exact location. So if the system knows a box is crushed, and it knows the vendor's return policy, and it knows the current stock levels, does a human even need to decide what to do with it?
Automated disposition.
Could the warehouse eventually run its own decision-making logic?
The scanner says this is damaged, and the system automatically issues the return PO, emails the vendor, and tells the worker, put this in bin X for pickup.
Exactly. No meetings, no judgment calls, just execution.
You know, it's not as far off as you think. The logic is there. The data is there. It's just about connecting the wires.
Something to think about next time you see a barcode. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Pleasure as always.
Keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Bye.